it is when these polarities that emanate from this Earth's tree of life, when they change, and they change in such a way that they go into unity consciousness in the sense that, when they change in such a way that they broaden the framework for consciousness, that people have gone from relating to their family, to their tribe, to their nation, to their planet, and to their galaxy, and ultimately going towards relating their existence to the universe, to the cosmos. And ultimately, I think that's where we're all going. And that's, yes, everything then comes back to the heartbeat of the Earth. But the reason it does so is that the heartbeat of the Earth is a reflection of what I call the tree of life. I think what the ancients would call the tree of life, because that is reflected on all of these different levels and brings about a kind of evolution of our mind. I probably is the best way of putting it. I might sometimes when I start thinking about things in retrospect, I realize maybe I didn't quite use the right wording. Maybe it's not an evolution of consciousness. Maybe it's an evolution of the mind, and that I've been talking about.
Okay. Well, that was all the questions I have for now. I'll be back in a little while to ask you another question. But thank you, Carl. And for right now, I'm going to turn it over to Lua.
Okay. Thank you, Carl. Advice from American Indian elders is that as mankind speeds up more and more, the Indian must slow down more and more. And I'm wondering how you relate this guidance to the continuously speeding up process of going through each of the steps of the 9 waves. Do you think the deliberate slowing down of our lives could help humans deal with the accelerating energy forces on the planet?
Yeah, it's a good advice. I think that the speed up is happening on the global level, and it manifests in a very direct political, economic, spiritual way, and there's no one that can stop that. But then the question is somebody not supposed to be part of this speed up of time? I can see, I don't think I'm that person, because I feel strongly compelled to do certain things. And the 9th wave, with its very high frequency, has been even more compelling for me to act, so to speak, and act rapidly, because if you don't act rapidly in this very high frequency, you will miss the chance if there was something that was meant to happen at a certain point in time. But at the same time, I definitely respect people that are certainly not want to, there's a lot of change that takes place that are basically unnecessary, maybe even unwanted. Some people feel compelled that they have to do things just because the forcefulness of this particular wave, and implement novelties that may not necessarily be needed. So I can only say that I have full respect for somebody who sort of wants to slow down and not be part of the changes everywhere. I could imagine that a person that would be highly enlightened might be somebody like that, who would not be, who would more like to slow down. But at the same time, I feel that on the large scale of things, this is not a choice that humanity has, and I'm not the person to tell what other people should do. I always see it as my mission to say the way things are, or what I can understand from the way things are according to the Mayan calendar.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a theory about why the 9 waves started 16.4 billion years ago? And do you think that there is a God consciousness who has orchestrated the pattern?
Yes, the answer is yes. I think there is a God consciousness. And I think what we're going towards is exactly what you're using, the word God consciousness. That's what when the calendar comes to an end, that's when we attain a God consciousness. We're still human beings, but our consciousness will have shifted in such a way that we see things much more from the perspective of God. And I do think of everything as being a divine plan. And the 16.4 billion years and the whole sort of setup of different waves is something that has existed forever in the minds of God, in my way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think the Maya were able to see this pattern of development?
Well, I think they happen to live in a time and a place when it was much easier to be sensitive to these different rhythms. And I think now we are coming back to that sensitivity in our day and time and place, I might say, which then actually is the whole planet. Because we are recreating the calendrical system that they at one point invented, and so now it's coming back, and it's just this particular frequency is very strong, and it's very hard to deny that it's actually having an effect on us. And for a variety of reasons, I believe the Maya were living in a time and a place when it was also very strongly felt by them, the influence of the evolutionary waves.
Okay, thank you very much, Carl.
Hi, Carl. The world runs with certain physical laws. Granted, science doesn't understand all the laws of nature and the universe, but still, when trying to reconcile the speeding of or compression of time as we approach 2012 and 2011, I would think it would need to be explained using current laws of nature that our physical bodies reside in. The acceleration of time would assume an acceleration of atoms, hence increased energy. The only explanation I can see why there is an increase of energy and consciousness would be energy from maybe the center of the galaxy due to the alignment with the solstice sun and the center of the Milky Way. Now, not that I agree totally with John Mage Jenkins, but the alignment does explain the extra energy that could cause the acceleration of time and the increase in consciousness. What do you think is the cause of the acceleration of time and consciousness?
Well, my view is obviously different. And I don't necessarily see why a galactic alignment would generate any new energy, so to speak. Especially not since the astronomers say that if there was an alignment, it already happened in 1998. But in my view, this speed up of time and also the universe has been reorganized for 16 billion years, and the source of this is the tree of life, which is the cosmic tree of life. In other words, it includes 100 billion different galaxies, including our own galaxy. And in the big scale of the Mayan calendar, our own galaxy is then a very small part of what might have generated these energies. But I think it's somehow the way it works is that there is a particular pattern according to which these waves are generated, and that the energy it comes from. Yeah, I can't really have any. I don't think I have any direct explanation to how it works, but I do think to me it's clear that everything has to come from the cosmic tree of life, not from our local galaxy, because in my view of the universe, the central principle is as above, so below, and everything that exists at a lower level is sort of part of and a reflection of what comes out on a higher level. And I don't understand why a galactic alignment would generate any new energy, I must say. To me, it's just the continuation of the same mechanical cycles of our solar system that have been operating for a very long time.
Okay, thank you for that. Carl, with the acceleration of time approaching October 28, 2011, you mentioned in November on an interview with Jim Gilliland that the new level of consciousness could bring about the creation of a cyber civilization and a totally new way of relating to people. Based on the Webbot forecasts, my belief is maybe the opposite that will occur, and that the patriarchal systems will collapse and the changes in the sun and the earth's climate will cause a return to more of a tribal community with an agrarian lifestyle. Can you reiterate what you believe the world will be like in past October 28, 2011?
No, I think I probably I agree with you. First of all, when it comes to human civilization, we're talking about such a big thing that it's hard to see that it would sort of just change overnight. The way we're living is organized. But my current view, and I think I've had that probably since November, is that the world in the long run, after October 28, 2011, will go towards some kind of a web of different, you might say, exciting villages. Our world has sort of been very much developed, the modern world, civilization, has very much been developed based on a competition of countryside and city. Basically, cities have been exploiting the surrounding countrysides. And it's been a form of dominance. And the result has been that, people have thought, oh, it's exciting to be in the big cities, and that's where things are happening and so forth. And the countryside, on the other hand, is backward. Things move slowly, nothing happens, and so forth. That's the feeling that we've had. But as dominance comes to an end, which I believe